On May 21st, 2010, a young woman was found murdered in the apartment of 26-year-old Army veteran Sam Hare. When Sam's father discovered the gruesome scene, they frantically dialed 911.
Then I walked into the bedroom, and that's when I saw a body, a large amount of blood. I immediately called 911.
But Sam was nowhere in sight. Who was that woman and what happened to her? Was Sam on the run after killing her? Located halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego, Costa Mesa, California lies on a coastal highland overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Despite its affluence, it's a laid-back beach community at heart. No one anticipated that this beautiful place would be where Julie Kibuishi would meet her horrific end. Sam Hare's parents, Stephen and Raquel Hare, became concerned when they hadn't heard from their son in a while. Sam was supposed to go to his parents' house that weekend, but he never showed up. On May 22nd, 2010, Stephen went to Sam's apartment along with his wife. There, a horrendous scene was awaiting them.
Sam, what happened? What did you do?
Panic-stricken, he immediately dialed 911. In this frantic call, Steve alerted the police that there was a dead woman lying face down in his son's bedroom.
I don't know, gang. That's not the first thing I would do if I found a dead body in my son's room. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not the first thing I would do. The first thing I would do is call my son and find out, yo, what is this? You know what I mean? I'll try to find out if my son alive or if he involved in it and what going on here. And I want him to tell me the story first before we tell anybody anything. Real talk. That's just me, though.
With some of her clothes ripped off and blood coming down from her forehead.
Costa Mesa 911.
There's a body in my son's apartment.
There's a what?
A body, a dead body.
A dead body?
But there's just some sexual activity. She's dead. There's blood from her head.
There was blood from her head?
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Do you know where your son is?
No, I don't. I don't.
However, Sam was nowhere in sight. The incident came as a shock for the Costa Mesa community, where murders are very rare. When police reached the apartment, they did not find any signs that a struggle had taken place.
Immediately as you walk in, I mean, you could tell it was a bachelor type apartment. It was a clean apartment. There was no signs that there may have been a struggle or maybe a fight that had gone on.
The apartment seemed to be filled with items you'd find in a typical bachelor pad. Empty beer bottles, burned cigarettes, a patio barbecue. But it looked relatively clean and neat. That is, until they entered the bedroom.
Then the bedroom, which begins to look a little suspicious. On the bedside table, there's an unused knife, and there's a couple of books. One of them, a combat how-to. Another, the wonders of sex. But then when you turn to the bed, a horrendous sight.
The bed was soaked red from the victim's blood. The deceased woman was lying partially on the bed and partially kneeling on the ground. Her pants were pulled down, exposing the lower portion of her body. From the looks of it, detectives concluded that she might have been sexually assaulted before her death. She died from 2 gunshot wounds to her head.
She had 1 gunshot wound, kind of top center of the head.
What y'all think,
There was
y'all?
also a knife on the bed.
Y'all think Sam did it? The son? Comment down below if you think he did it. But if you're busy drawing right now, you ain't gotta comment. That's cool.
Side table, but it appeared to be unused. Strangely, she was wearing a tiara, and scrawled on the back of her sweater were the words, "All yours." Her bag was found in the kitchen. From her driver's license, detectives identified the victim as 23-year-old Julie Kibuishi. Julie Kibuishi was born on Valentine's Day, 1987, to Japanese-American parents Jun and Masa Kibuishi. She was the third of 4 children and their first daughter. She'd always been referred to as my Valentine girl by her parents. From a very young age, Julie took a keen interest in dance and music. Her mother said Julie started tap dancing when she was just 5, and that passion only grew over the years. According to her friends and family, she was a pleasure to be around. Her goofy and bubbly personality made everyone laugh. Not only did she exude positivity, but she often bent over backwards to help a friend in need. On one hand, she respected her Japanese culture, but on the other, she was a free-spirited, all-American girl. After graduating high school from the Orange County School of the Arts, Julie went on to study fashion design at Orange Coast Community College. Here, she met 26-year-old Sam Hare, and the two became close. She also tutored him in anthropology. She did not know that her kindness would cost her life. After
Hmm.
scouring through the crime scene, detectives
No, it sounded like Sam did it then. Or maybe that's what they want us to think. Because like I said, all of this is plot twist, guys. But, I don't know. So far, it sounded like Sam did it. But I don't know, I'm not getting that vibe just yet. I'm not getting that vibe.
tried to piece together what had happened to this bright and beautiful young woman. All signs pointed to Sam being her killer. It was, after all, his apartment that she was found in. And now he would.
Yeah, you know what? Based on how he said that, I'ma bet that Sam is not the killer, bro. He wouldn't say, all signs seem to point to Sam. Like, I don't feel he would have said that if Sam was the killer.
Was nowhere to be found. It was time for investigators to take a closer look at Sam Hare. Samuel Hare was born on May 29, 1983, to parents Steve and Raquel Kalberman in Los Angeles, California. As the only child to a special education teacher father and stay-at-home mother, Sam was doted on. He was very close to his parents, visiting them often, even after he'd moved away. Although Sam's physical stature was big and strong, his friends described him as a big teddy bear. He was a fun-loving and easygoing guy. At a very young age, Sam had enlisted in the United States Army and served a tour of duty in Afghanistan and in Germany with the 173rd Airborne. After 3 years, he was discharged and returned to Southern California, where he was born and raised, to attend college on the GI Bill. He wanted to finish college and then re-enlist in the Army as an officer. With that goal in mind, Sam Hare enrolled himself in Orange Coast Community College, where he formed a friendship with Julie, who was 3 years younger than him. But just like many war heroes, Sam developed PTSD from the 3 years he served in the Army. Had he somehow snapped and committed the crime in a moment of passion? As Sam was nowhere to be found, detectives concluded that he was most likely on the run after murdering Julie in his own apartment. The suspicion only grew stronger when they found text messages on Julie's phone from Sam's number. At around 2:45 p.m. on May 21, 2010, Sam sent her a text saying he was going to help a friend and then head out to go to his parents' house. However, just 2 hours later, his tone changed when he sent her a couple of texts begging her to come to his place. From the tone of the messages, Sam seemed like a man in trouble. He was clearly upset about something. As a concerned friend, Julie agreed to meet Sam. She said she'd be there for him like a family. While Sam's family was dumbfounded by the findings and worried that his life was in danger, these texts made him look more guilty to the investigators. It showed that he planned for her to come over. Additionally, Sam's car and his passport were also missing from the apartment, leading investigators to believe that Sam was probably on the run.
His passport was missing. His car was missing. I'm looking at everything going, come on, guys, this is obvious. You know, you're going to find Sam. He's going to be our killer.
Yet investigators would soon find out that there
Yeah,
was
he's
even
not the
more
killer.
to this story. Flashing back to 8 years prior, in 2002, the then 18-year-old Sam Hare was charged with another heinous crime. He was accused of taking part, along with 17 other men and women, in the stabbing and beating death of 19-year-old Byron Benito in Canyon Country. Allegedly, on the night of January 15, 2002, Sam, who had been friends with Benito since childhood, picked Benito up from his house and led his unsuspecting friend to an area behind a mobile home park where he was attacked and killed by a group of suspected gang members. He was charged with murder. However, in the end, he was acquitted of those charges, but that didn't change the suspicion in the minds of the investigators. Although Sam's family did not believe in his
Sam out here setting up his friends? What's going on, yo? Alright, the plot thickens.
guilt, investigators were almost certain that they were after the right person. As Sam was trained to use firearms, they considered him armed and dangerous and on the run. Believing that they had a dangerous killer on the loose, authorities put an APB out for Sam. Meanwhile, the Costa Mesa police began monitoring Sam's cell phone and credit card activities in an attempt to locate him. Cops got information that there had been 4 withdrawals made from ATMs in the days since his disappearance. His credit card was also used at a pizza delivery place in Long Beach, California, just 20 miles away from Sam's house. Police expected to see Sam on the surveillance cameras, but when the bank sent them footage from the ATM cameras, they couldn't believe whom they were seeing. It was a teenager wearing a hoodie and a cap, withdrawing money from Sam's bank account. Neither police nor Sam's parents were able to identify the kid. Investigators concluded that he was most likely helping Sam, either to get away or to hide. Either way, Costa Mesa police were desperate to track him down. On May 26, 2010, they received information that his credit card had been used at another pizza delivery, and they set about tracking the delivery driver. After obtaining the delivery address from him, police headed to the address to apprehend Sam, thinking that they'd finally found his hideout spot. When police stormed the house, expecting to find Sam, they instead found 17-year-old Wesley Freelich, along with some of his friends. Although suspected earlier, authorities almost immediately ruled out Wesley as a suspect, but he did still have Sam's credit card in possession. The teenager depicted a shocking story that investigators were not anticipating hearing. He was, in fact, given the credit card with full instructions to withdraw cash. However, it was not by Sam. He didn't even know Sam. Daniel Wozniak, a local theater actor whom Wesley met through community theater, had given him the credit card. Wozniak told Wesley that he was a bail bondsman and needed to collect money Sam owed. Perhaps any other person would have declined it, but as Wesley looked up to Wozniak as an older brother, without realizing the gravity of the situation, the 17-year-old boy agreed to help.
What?
In total, $1,900 was withdrawn
So
from the
wait,
account.
you got 2 new people. One of them out here buying pizza with the missing guy's credit card. And then he tells us that his theater buddy gave him the card. What's going on here? Did the theater buddy kill Sam and the girl? Did he set it all up? He sounded like a mastermind to me. Let's see, let's find out.
The name Daniel Wozniak did ring a bell for investigators, as they'd found an invitation to his upcoming wedding in Sam's apartment. But who was this Daniel Wozniak, and what was his connection to Sam? Did he help Sam to get away, or was he an accomplice to the murder itself? Several questions were yet to be answered. 38-year-old Daniel Dan Patrick Wozniak was born on March 23, 1984, as the youngest of 3 boys. Daniel spent a lot of time with his grandparents after school, due to his parents' long work hours. Dan grew up in a luxurious home, and the family often took expensive vacations. He was described as a good kid in school, who mostly got very good grades. He used jokes, singing, dancing, and magic tricks to get attention from people. He loved to be the center of attention. Realizing that he had a natural talent for stage performance, Daniel started acting and singing in musicals in his early 20s. He was pretty casual about his plans for the future. He could never hold a job for long, which forced him to move from job to job with very low pay. However, as years passed, he kept his passion for acting alive and continued to work in theater. It was here, in one of his musicals, that he found the woman of his dreams, a fellow actress. After briefly dating, they decided to marry. On May 26, 2010, when police tracked down Wozniak, he was enjoying his bachelor party in Huntington Beach, California. But how is Daniel Wozniak linked to Sam Hare? As it turned out, he lived in the same apartment complex where Sam lived. Assuming that Wozniak had either helped Sam flee or hide, or had been complicit in Julie's murder, cops barged into the private bachelor party for Wozniak with an arrest warrant. The blood drained from his face as soon as he saw the cops. leading the detectives to believe that he knew more than he was letting on.
Oh dear.
Police took him into custody for questioning. In the interrogation room, at first, Wozniak claimed that his only crime was participating in credit card fraud and covering for Sam. He further told the investigators that he and Sam hatched a plan to pull out all of his money from his bank account with the help of Wesley, and then claim credit card theft. But Daniel claimed before they could carry out the plan, Sam made a shocking confession. He added that, after this confession, he dropped Sam off at a local shopping center and had not seen him since.
What?
Nonetheless, detectives believed he was still covering for Sam, and that he had more involvement in Julie's murder than he told the investigators.
That don't
So
make sense.
detectives tried a different strategy.
What was the
They
confession?
took a DNA swab from Daniel, a strategy that made Daniel very nervous. He tried to collect his composure, but detectives could tell there was something wrong. Almost immediately, he started to add more details to the story.
Oh no.
Tell me about the Sam incident and what you did.
I told him that I needed to move some stuff from the theater. I said, you need to bend down and help me lift this thing up. And when he bent down, I grabbed the gun. I never really fired the gun before, so I pulled it back and I shot him.
Detectives realized that Wozniak was nervous that his DNA would show up at Sam's apartment. Although he tried to say otherwise, cracking under pressure, he kept changing his story. After a long pause, Wozniak said that he knew about Julie's murder and he helped him get away. When detectives reminded him that they had his DNA, he reassured them that it was not going to show up on Julie's body. He was still holding on to the fact that he had nothing to do with the murder. Detectives were expecting that Wozniak would reveal more details when he suddenly decided he was done with the interview. But with so much at stake, detectives could not let him go easily without
Wait, so
knowing
he
the
did
full
kill
details.
Sam,
They
right?
told Wozniak that he'd be arrested for the accessory to murder charge if he did not come clean and give them full details. Wozniak had a lot at stake too. He had a wedding scheduled in just 48 hours, and he did not want to miss it. Under pressure, Wozniak started to crumble. The story yet again changed a bit. Seeing that Wozniak was about to break, detectives hastened the process by bluffing about the DNA. Although in reality, DNA test results wouldn't be back for weeks, detectives claimed his DNA was found on Julie's body. Shockingly, he did not protest the claim. He rather said his DNA was on Julie's body because he was standing right over her body. As it turns out, Wozniak was not as good of an actor in the interrogation room as he was on the stage. As his lies fell apart, he dropped yet another bombshell. This was a major red flag for the detectives because only one gunshot wound was visible to the investigators at the crime scene. Only later, when an autopsy was performed, was it revealed that there was a second gunshot wound.
Oh.
This confession from Wozniak meant that he'd been there when she was killed, which made him an accomplice in the murder, and investigators could now officially detain him.
Oh.
Yet, even though Wozniak was in custody, detectives still had to find Sam, and Daniel refused to talk.
Wait, but
While
didn't Daniel
detectives
say
were
he
searching
shot
for
him?
any clues that could lead them to Sam Hare, sitting behind bars, Wozniak called his fiancée, Rachel Buffett. Whether Wozniak knew those conversations were being recorded or not, he was about to get caught in his own web of lies.
Uh-oh.
As Rachel chose freedom over love, she told him that she was going to call detectives with more information. Wozniak knew he had to talk to the detectives before Rachel could. Suddenly, he was in a panic, desperate to strike the deal with the detectives that he refused only hours before. But what he told the detectives this time was beyond their imagination. For the first time, Wozniak was ready to break down the timeline of his diabolical murder plan, which started with a simple favor from a friend.
What?
On the fateful day of May 21st, 2010, Wozniak asked Sam, who considered him a good friend, to help move some boxes at the Los Alamitos Theater attic in a local military base. While Sam was busy moving the boxes in the attic in a knelt-down position with his back turned to Wozniak, the cold-blooded monster pulled out a gun and shot him in the head once. Initially,
What?
Sam never knew what hit him.
Why?
After realizing he'd been shot, he begged Wozniak to help him. Without a shred of hesitation, This merciless killer reloaded his gun and shot him a second time, killing him instantly. After killing Sam, he was still not finished. In a cold and composed manner, he did the unthinkable by texting Julie from Sam's phone and luring her to Sam's apartment. In the utmost callousness, he left Sam's body in the attic and went to perform his play, laughing, singing, dancing,
What?
as if he did not just murder an innocent man and lure another to the same fate. Later in the night, Wozniak snuck into Sam's apartment, and once Julie was inside the apartment, he shot her 2 times in the head. He then staged the crime scene to make it look like Sam fled after assaulting and killing Julie in his apartment.
Why would you do that?
However, he still needed to make sure that no one found Sam. In desperation, he proceeded to commit one of the most depraved acts possible. He returned to the attic and dismembered Sam's hands and head in an attempt to conceal the deceased's identity. He disposed of them at a nearby park. But even after these heinous acts, seemingly without a care in the world, Wozniak once again returned to the theater. In several cast party photos detectives collected later, he can be seen laughing and joking with other members. But perhaps the motive remains even more twisted than the murders themselves. It all boiled down to money.
The motive behind killing Sam was
Money and insanity.
money and insanity. Okay.
Wozniak always struggled
Yo,
with
I
money
hate how all these Americans keep trying to put like insanity in the mix, bro. You know exactly what you were doing, bro. Insanity is like almost like heat of the moment, bro. You can't claim insanity if you spend weeks planning this thing and like still being a normal acting citizen in society, bro. I hope they book this guy, bro. Like,
obtaining employment. At the time of the murders, he was behind 2 months in rent, on the verge of getting evicted. Additionally, he had no way of paying for the grand wedding or honeymoon he'd planned. And that's when he learned of the $62,000 Sam had in his savings for his time served in the military. He killed 2 innocent people in cold blood so that he could have a grand wedding and enjoy an expensive vacation.
what? Nah. That's really the world we be living in, bro. That's crazy, bro.
If the confession was not enough, police found the evidence bag that Rachel talked about on the phone with Wozniak, thanks to Wozniak's brother, Tim. Tim had instructions to get rid of the bag, but he instead threw it over the fence at his parents' house. That backpack was filled with incriminating evidence, including Sam Hare's financial details, passport, his bloody clothes, and, most damning of all, the murder weapon.
What?
Wozniak's DNA was all over the...
So wait. You do all of that and then you put it in a bag and you trust it up to your brother to throw away the bag? Did you tell him what's in the bag? But that's not even a part of it. Like, what kind of idiot is this, bro? This guy just up and decided to take 2 lives, bro. Like, you know what? That is insanity, bro. These people is crazy, bro. These people is crazy. What? Bro, they gotta be real bored up in the burbs, bro. Like,
the items,
that don't make no
suggesting that
sense.
he, and he alone, committed the double homicide.
It was
No
a cornucopia
sense.
of evidence. I mean, DNA, expended shell casings, the victim's financial information. It's everything a prosecutor could ever want. And of course, that also led us to the murder weapon itself.
On December 16, 2015, at the end of his trial, which lasted just 5 days, Wozniak was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder. On January the 11th, 2016, after only 1 hour of deliberation, in what's described as one of the shortest death penalty deliberations, the jury recommended the death penalty to a very deserving Daniel Wozniak.
Yeah, get out of here,
On
bro.
September 23rd, 2016, the judge sentenced him to death. It seemed like there was no end of deception in this case. Detectives discovered years later that Wozniak's former fiancée, Rachel Buffett, not only knew about the murder plots, but she'd been deceptive to the detectives.
What?
Though she denied all the...
Wait, what? She's what? Bro, nah, that right there is a plot twist, bro. That right there is a plot twist. This girl sell him out, but she knew about it?
These
Hold on.
allegations, she was arrested and charged with 3 felony counts of accessory after the fact, based on allegations that she'd lied multiple times to police investigators. On September 12, 2018, she was convicted on 2 of those counts with a maximum possible sentence of 44 months, and on November 8, 2018, was sentenced to 32 months behind bars. She was
32
released from
months.
jail sometime in 2019. Life snatched away from 2 innocent people. Life destroyed for their family members. And all of this just so one
A
maniac
wedding.
could have his dream honeymoon.
Are you kidding
The
me?
only closure that the families can get from this is that this monster is spending his last days where he can't hurt anybody else. Share your thoughts on this tragic case in the comment section.
That's mad sad, y'all. That's mad sad. But thanks for watching. And I hope you still drawing. You know I'm still drawing. And have a great day, yo.